Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is championship week here at Club Fantasy, heading into week 17. And as you can see, no, sorry, guys, I am not Joe. I am Josh, one of the other co-hosts of No Pun Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. Joe, unfortunately, has a family gathering that he is tending to today, but that's okay because we brought in someone better. Sorry, not sorry, Joe. With us this week, Hutchinson Brown, the young fantasy mind, filling in for Joe as we preview Week 17 to get you all ready to hoist those championship belts that you probably see behind Ryan as we kick off the show. So, with that, stay tuned.
Welcome, everybody, into No Pun Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. Joe, as Joshua said, is not here, so I'm going to be your host tonight, Hutchinson Brown. Very, very excited to be hosting this show with Ryan and Joshua, my two co-hosts here.
You know, I did excited to have you. Way better than Joe.
Yeah, way better than Joe. Absolutely. Sorry,
I know Joe. I'm not going to be called a dumbass or an asshole throughout today. I'm kind of excited about it.
Don't worry. I'm not Joe, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, this is very, very exciting. You know, I hosted a couple of these over the summer with these two guys. It was fantastic. And we've got a fantastic show today with, 3 ups, 3 downs, previewing this week. Very, very excited. So let's get into some news and notes. You want me to read through these, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. So 100 players came off the COVID list. Seriously, is that the actual number? Sorry, I just read this for the first time. No, that's the actual number.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the actual number. Yes.
The NFL is switching to be more in line with the CDC guidelines, so they're allowing a lot of players to get back to work very quickly.
All right. So, tight end Darren Waller to the COVID list. Unfortunately, Darren Waller has been out for the last few weeks, and now he's on the COVID list. He looks like he's going to be playing this week, like injury-wise. He looked healthy, but can he clear the COVID protocol? That will be the question this week. Quarterback Carson Wentz also to the COVID list. And since he's unvaccinated, I feel like, because the math here is that since he's unvaccinated, if it's actual positive test, it's 10 days that he's out. So that rules him out for the game if he's actually a COVID positive. But if it was just a close contact, it's 5 days.
Yes.
Which would lead to Sunday, which means he still couldn't play because he'd be out for Sunday, right?
Well, this all triggered yesterday, so the 5 days still gets him up to Sunday. So I think he's still going to be fine. Yeah, I don't want to say he's going to play. I have absolutely no idea. But
from what I gather, the Colts are planning for Sam Ehlinger to play. Obviously, Wentz can't be at practice, but I believe we see all the time that, like Sunday morning, these guys get activated to play in the event that they, pass the protocol and all that good stuff. So,
all right, moving on. Philadelphia running back Miles Sanders. This is like the 7th injury this year. He is out this week with a broken hand. Man, this has been a rough season for Miles Sanders, but another injury. He's going to be out for this game. And you could probably, if this is your championship week, you can drop him. Like, he's done.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen is out for the season after having surgery on his ankle. We weren't, he did come back and play last week, and now looks like he's going to be out again. And he's going to be gone for the season, so you won't be having
KJ Osborne, baby.
So KJ Osborne gets a nice bump. Tyler Conklin, if you're that desperate for a tight end play, he could actually work out.
May come up in the stream of the week video tomorrow.
Yeah, there have been games with Thielen though where he just hasn't come through. There have been games without Thielen where he just has not come through at all.
Yeah. I feel like Conklin is a better start, and this is going to sound ridiculous, when Thielen and Dalvin Cook aren't playing. When one or the other is there, it tends to slow Tyler Conklin down.
Yeah.
Well, he then becomes the main option as the red zone guy.
Exactly.
You have
Dalvin Cook like he's good. Dalvin Cook seems like he's going to play, right?
Yes, Cook they said is going to play.
Yeah, he's coming off the COVID list, so he should be.
Yeah,
he was one of the 100.
Yeah, he just got activated off the COVID list. And then this is huge. Rams running back Darrell Henderson placed on short-term IR. He's going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks, and he's gone. And then we had this news come up right after that with Cam Akers. He was activated prior to last week's game, and now he has a chance to play this week, according to Sean McVay.
That's just unfathomable to me. I don't understand.
No, I don't think he does.
Tear their Achilles and be back within 6 months. Like,
the normal recovery time is 9 months.
Yeah,
the craziest thing.
It's crazy. That shows, because James Robinson actually recently tore his Achilles. Like, right?
That was the other bit of news I forgot to throw in there. He tore his Achilles last week, and we all can thank Ryan for the kiss of death on that one. So
yeah.
That really, like, with Cam Akers coming back this quick, that just gives a lot of good signs for James Robinson. Like, he's young too. He hasn't had that much work on his legs either. Like, James Robinson's somebody that maybe we can see another outlier type of year. Maybe quicker recovery.
I'm going to go completely the opposite and way negative on this.
So really?
I had heard a rumor that they were only activating Akers to get him a year of service. It was based on the amount of games that he had.
I did hear that report.
And so I don't know how ready he is. And Marlon Mack is the most recent cautionary tale. This guy has been a healthy scratch for like weeks upon weeks upon weeks at this point. I don't like it for anybody in this situation. I wish James Robinson the best. I'm sorry what I did to you, man. I am truly sorry.
My biggest thing with Robinson, and I was talking with my roommate about this, is that the Jags have no commitment to him. Yeah. I mean, I understand you're going to bring in a new coaching staff again, but he's not expensive because he's not on even a traditional rookie contract. He was an undrafted guy, and they just spent a first-round pick on a running back who also was coming off of his own injury. So, I mean, with the offseason recovery time for Robinson, at the 9-month mark, you're looking at September. If he actually
it's very late September. So he missed all of the training camp, all preseason games, everything, and he missed.
And with as much draft capital as the Jaguars have, I wouldn't be shocked if they spent a second, third, or fourth round pick on a running back as well this year to add more depth in the event that, because again, you're preparing for ETN to come back, who may not be 100% healthy either with a Liz Frank injury.
Yep.
But the point that I'm getting at is, and this is what we talk about in dynasty circles all the time, draft capital matters.
Yep.
This guy ends up suffering a season-ending injury, and something that a lot of running backs don't bounce back from historically, even though modern medicine is catching up. There's no real commitment for the Jaguars to be like, yeah, we're going to stick it with this guy. Like, it's just not there.
There's nothing.
And it's a sad state of events because so many of us absolutely love James Robinson.
James Robinson is a great player, and if the Jaguars were to move on from him, he might have another opportunity with another team.
Yep, I would just say don't get sucked into him next year. I
wouldn't either.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It all depends on what we see, like what he's doing health wise. Like, if he's really starting to look good, then we could, if we're seeing a Cam Akers situation, then it could be something you look for. But
yeah, this Cam Akers is you hit it on the head. Yeah. This is the glimmer of hope. Like, if he comes back and plays in these 2 games, 1, it's great for Robinson, but 2, it's great for, as Josh kind of said, modern medicine. So.
Yeah, and it's great for my 4 out of 5 Dynasty League Akers players.
There you go.
That would be great. Yeah, Akers. Come on, man. All right. So we're moving to the 3-up, 3-down players here. So I'm just going to read these off and with these comments here. So 3-up for Josh. Let's talk about Joe Mixon. Proved me way wrong and had a great game against Baltimore. Josh,
I was way down on him heading into that game. He had 12 touches in the first meeting. Yeah, not good. But hey, if you'd have asked me though before the game if Joe Mixon would have had that type of day with Joe Burrow throwing for 525 yards, I would have checked your temperature. Yeah, among other things.
All right, next up player here, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown's been on fire, and he just said it here. Dudes just did 9 for 91 and a touchdown with Tim Boyle as his quarterback. Like, this dude is balling. Amon-Ra St. Brown is absolutely balling. Like, he is just playing super, super well. And I did the waiver wire show on Tuesday. I still can't believe he's owned in 40% of sleeper leagues. Yeah. Before the waiver wires went through, he's owned available. 40%. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous number. Like after like 4 straight games of pure gold, like he was owning that many leagues. That's crazy. He should be.
Absolutely, that's how available he is. But he is shaping up, and I understand it's rookie year, and there's so much. He is starting to look QB proof if they're going to feed him these targets.
Oh yeah,
he catches everything thrown his way. I'm very excited for the Sun God in 2022.
Very excited. It just depends on what Detroit does with at wide receiver this year in the draft. Because if they draft a high level wide receiver, that would make it really, really tough for me. St. Brown's gonna have a big year. It
would be hard for him to have 12 targets a game. However, he is your traditional slot wide receiver. If they can go get an outside guy to take pressure off of him, typically in the league, if you're not Devontae Adams, you're an outside guy, you're looking at 6 to 8 targets anyway. That still leaves plenty of work for Amon-Ra. I'm not too worried about it. I'm way more worried about Jared Goff and Dan Campbell than I am a rookie wide receiver. So
yeah. That's true. All right. So last up player for Josh here is Kyle Pitts for this week. I mentioned last week that we were headed for a big Pitts week. That was a good call, Josh. 6 for 100, and I think he had 102 yards.
Maybe that's what.
Not 6. Josh wrote down 6 for 100 and messed it up. But
whatever. He had 16 fantasy points in PPR. Tight end 4 in the week. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was awesome. All right. For Ryan here, we had Rex Burkhead, 2 touchdowns in the semifinals.
What more can you ask for? Anybody who had the balls to start Rex Burkhead. I mean, the Chargers were the right matchup to start him, and he did what he was supposed to do. So,
next one was Zach Wilson. If we can see this rushing upside next season, he will be nice.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Rushing upside's the cheat code.
Yeah, PFF showed this weird stat. Like, the only quarterback with a 40-plus yard touchdown, rushing touchdown, in terms of quarterbacks is Zach Wilson.
I promise you. So I watched the whole touchdown go down on Red Zone or whatever. And I had to question myself numerous times if it was slow. Zach Wilson. He looked slow. The whole play looked weird. Slow. And I'm like, what is happening here?
I was like, yeah, it looks, watching the video, like, how is nobody catching him?
Exactly.
Like, how is nobody catching him yet? Like, these dudes are supposed to be much faster than this. And then Jaylen Waddle, what a first game back. Guys, Jaylen Waddle, like, seriously, I said this on my podcast that came out on Tuesday, and I'm going to say it on Thursday's episode. If he's not drafted in the top 4 rounds next year, he will be on pretty much every fantasy team I have for redraft. Yeah. Like, I think he's going to be a star.
Ryan's going to be drafted in the third round every year, so nobody's getting him.
Yeah. I think he's going to sneak into the 4th round next year. It's going to be so interesting with his price because I feel like he could be one of those guys that's just really, really underrated because of Tua Tagovailoa as the starting quarterback. I'm assuming Tua is still the starter next year, but I don't know.
I mean, you're going to have all the Deshaun Watson drama going in this season, and he's going to if Deshaun Watson ends up in Miami, Waddle's going to start threatening overdraft at that point.
Yeah, he might slip in around 3 if Deshaun Watson.
I say you brought up the 4th round, which I think is an interesting place for him because it depends on your draft strategy. Joe is a notorious bountiful running back drafter. I don't know that Waddle's a guy he's going to be willing to make his wide receiver 1 in round 4 because he's going RB. But then there's a discussion all over Twitter today, very well put discussion about is anchor RB or Hutch, you were the first one I hear call it hero RB, which
that's going to be my strategy going forward. I
think it's going to be a lot of my strategy. So here's the question I would pose to you guys. I was running through this in my head today. So I am a tight end early guy. So if I go Jonathan Taylor, things work out well, and then I go Travis Kelce in the 2nd round, and then I go wide receiver, and Waddle is my wide receiver 2 in round 4, I'm ecstatic at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a PPR league.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a PPR league, absolutely. Like, he's just getting so much volume. It's ridiculous. Like, a lot of people are going to think about him when they think about Jaylen Waddle. They can think about a speedster, big playability. But he's getting a lot of shorter passes because that's what the Miami offense is liking to do right now. He's getting a lot of shorter passes, and he's getting a good yards after catch right now, and he's just balling right now.
Well, Miami went co-offensive coordinators this year, I think, and I think they're both from the New England tree, and so it makes sense that they're loving on their short passing game. So,
there was an interesting stat from one of the guys at PFF. I want to say it was Kevin Cole, but don't quote me on that. But he was putting out like comparisons when you look at like Jaylen Waddle's average depth of target, yards per reception, yards per route run, all these different things, and then kind of comparing it. And when you look at like the rookie year of those compared with Tyreek Hill, they're almost spot on. And when you look at guys that are that shorter stature, that are as fast as they are, give them a year and look what Tyreek Hill did in year 2. And again, he popped in year 2 with Alex Smith, also not a big-armed quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes. And we know what type of quarterback Tua is. He's definitely not I'm going to throw it, 40 yards down the field kind of guy. But he just doesn't have time right now because that offensive line is so bad. Just imagine if they get a good offensive line and give him time.
Yeah, I think Tua can make big plays.
Yeah, Jaylen Waddle to the moon when that happens.
Oh yeah, if they were really invest in that O-line this year, because that's really their one biggest weakness. Like thinking about the Miami Dolphins and that team, their defense started off a bit rough, but that defense has been playing like pretty great lately. Yeah. Like it looks like that 2020 defense late down the stretch. They're looking really good again. That offensive line is really their only weakness. They're really start investing in that. That's going to give Tua more time, and I believe Tua can do it. I think Tua can do it. I'm a Tua guy.
I agree completely. I am certainly a Tua guy.
Yeah, I like Tua a lot. All right, let's move on here. Joe's picks here. For the picky pick, Nick Foles, the greatest backup quarterback when there's zero pressure in NFL history. Not to be confused with the greatest third-string quarterback in NFL history, Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah.
Nick Foles.
Long-running joke on this show.
Yeah. And then T. Higgins. Oh, my gosh, man. Baller. I was like, T. Higgins is a baller. Oh, man, I'm feeling so good about my T. Higgins call this year. Like, I had him come into the season as like a top 15 wideout.
Can we just think for a second, though, because Tyler Boyd's on contract for at least the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
This Bengals offense
it's ridiculous.
Is a problem for the NFL next year.
Oh,
they already are. We just saw it. If this is a taste.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they actually get consistent.
Yep.
Because that's been the biggest problem this year.
And they build some O-line depth next year. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, let's not forget Burrow's coming off of an injury. Like this year was a right year for Joe Burrow, and you can't deny he got right. If he gets a full offseason, no recovery. Oh my goodness!
Did you guys know that Joe Burrow nearly has 1,000 yards on the Ravens this season?
Yeah.
Nearly 1,000 yards. I think he has like 950 yards on the Ravens by themselves.
Yeah, he threw for over 400 in their first meeting and then 525 in this past one.
Yeah.
That Bengals or that Ravens defense is not good. We hold the Ravens in such high regard.
And it's really the injuries. The injuries have killed them this year.
Absolutely.
It's not really like the talent they have on the team. It's just really they've gotten hurt by the injury bug. Like Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey gone. Like that's just huge. Yep. Like those two alone, that's huge because they have like an undrafted free agent, like a 6th rounder back there. Like it's just bad.
And then losing Matthew Judon in the offseason and replacing him with Jason Owe. And Owe had some decent games early on in the year, but hasn't done anything really much. I mean, it's a rebuilding.
All right. So then last one, Damien Harris with 103 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Huge game from Harris. Yeah, huge. Just a huge game from Harris.
Definitely did some great things for me on my bench in one of my semifinals, but it's okay. I won anyway. So.
All right. Let's go to the 3 down players for Josh's. Saquon Barkley. Man, not even 4 points against a team you absolutely obliterate on the regular. I almost said on the red. On the regular.
Tried to say it like the hip kids touch.
No,
on the reg.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not cool, okay? Don't make fun of me. But okay, let's say wow, that was terrible. But Saquon, man, is he like startable in finals week? Like, are you trying to start him in finals week at all?
Nope.
I'm not.
Not even.
I've been saying he's unstartable for like the last 6 weeks. Like he's been a guy I'm like, no way. Just don't even try it.
Literally what I was about to say. Completely agree. Not a player I am trying to put on the field.
And it's sad too because he had on paper a really good looking playoff schedule, and it was like, all right, let's go. Yeah. But I mean, Mike Glennon has been hot garbage, and obviously we know Jake Fromm is not from State Farm at all.
Yeah.
So this not There's no guidance to this offense, and he cannot get going at all.
This show's obviously starting to lend itself a lot towards 2022. How are we approaching Saquon Barkley next year? Because right now, I don't know that I touch him in the first three rounds. So
I think he's still a second round pick.
Really? I don't know.
I'm willing to take
at the end of the day, he's still a starting running back, and we know what type of upside he's capable of. But he's not somebody that I'm saying that I'm going to anchor my fantasy team.
I'm willing to draft him in the early third, but I just cannot get myself to click that draft button on Saquon Barkley. It's just never going to happen. Like,
there would have to be so many things that would have to go right for this team in the offseason. They have to bolster that offensive line.
The offensive line
to change out their quarterback. They have to get a good offensive coordinator, and they're not likely to get any of that. That's the problem.
It's just not shaping up well for the Giants, and it hasn't for a bit. But yeah, the Saquon is just not a player I'm going to be looking to draft at all. I wanted to say this year, I didn't want to draft him this year at all. I was like, don't draft Saquon Barkley, but buy him low after his slow start because he come off the ACL tear, blah, blah, blah. And he did have a slow start, but then he got hurt. And I was looking to buy low, but then he got hurt. And then he looked bad again. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to buy. I'm not even going to buy low. This is just going to be another terrible season. And that's kind of how it's
I was able to trade him in our 4-eye championships. I traded Kareem Hunt to get him. It was literally a straight up deal. I was figured it was, low cost. All right, let's see what we can do. Never really got going, sadly. But you know what? I didn't get anything from Kareem Hunt. So it really didn't matter from that aspect. But I did swing a trade for him in a dynasty league that on paper, that team was so freaking stacked, but it just fell victim to week 15, Armageddon or whatever the hell we were calling that, because good Lord, that was just a bad week.
Before we move on, we have a couple of questions, but this kind of lends itself to what we're not at all. This kind of lends itself to what we're talking about right now, where let's just kind of talk about, we hit on Hero RB in standard. Is it as viable versus in redraft because of the non-PPR aspect of things?
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. I think in standard, you have to smash running backs if you're able to. But, we talk about this on our show, and I know the fantasy footballers are huge on this. You have to be water. You have to be able to zig when others zag. If everybody's going, max RB early, start drafting the wide receivers. Start drafting those high target guys like a Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, those guys that are going to see, 10 or so targets or more every single game, because those targets are going to turn into a lot of receiving yards and a good amount of touchdowns.
So I'm going to throw out that I play in a standard league. It is an auction league, but I essentially did this year. I used my money to get the players I wanted at other positions. So I got Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I got George Kittle because I want big tight end, and Kelsey went a little higher than I was willing to spend. I kind of set myself a budget. But then at wide receiver, I went Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, knowing very well I could start 3 every week.
Yep.
And then my backup running backs ended up being Chase Edmonds, Michael Carter, and thankfully, I was on this train early. I got Cordero Patterson off of waivers week 1. Nice. So I do say it's viable, but I do say I still would rather have my first 2 RBs in a standard draft. In auction, I set myself some budgets, and I always take notes after a draft of things I want to do better next year. And right away, I adjusted my RB2 budget up a few dollars because I had set myself at such a low number. I was letting guys slip by for $1 or $2 that I really regretted when it was all said and done. And Cordero Patterson really bailed me out. So is it viable? Absolutely. But you need to hit on your 3 wide receivers. You so badly do you need to hit on your 3 wide receivers. Whereas in PPR, there's give, because we were talking about it. I don't remember if we were talking about it live on air. I think we were. Everything's a blur to me. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still available in 40% of leagues. In PPR, that's ridiculous. He should not be out there.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on here to.
Actually, we have a few more questions since we're on some questions.
You want to get some more questions?
I'll cue them up, Hutch. You read them.
Foster Moreau or Gerald Everett for the championship game?
Ooh, and Josh, we'll let you start.
Go ahead, Josh.
This votes for me because, all right, I'm going to do this way. Everett absolutely loved this week because he's just been that good. But this is against the Colts. The Colts are god-awful against the tight end, which absolutely 1,000% to me favors Foster Moreau if Darren Waller does not play.
Yeah,
that caveat.
Yeah, I would go Moreau too. I love Everett. I've been an Everett guy this entire year, but that Colts matchup is just too nice to target. The Lions matchup is great too. I love both these guys. You know what? No, I'm changing. I'm sticking with my gun. I'm sticking with my favorite player. I'm going Everett. I think Everett's the better, more talented tight end. The matchup is good enough. I'm going to switch right here, Everett.
It'd be different if Moreau hadn't let us down in this exact same position multiple weeks over the last few weeks. So give me Gerald Everett as well, who seems to really be hitting his stride in this offense. So yeah, give me Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have another question. Sorry. Here you go.
Sony Michel, Ronald Jones, or Ezekiel Elliott, pick 2 in a full PPR format. Wow, that's a very good question. Oh man, I think Sony's locked in here, right? Can we lock in Sony Michel now that Henderson's out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Lock in Sony, 100%.
But you also have to Rojo's matchup. You can't bench Rojo this week.
Yes, yeah, you can't. Yeah,
sadly, I think you're benching Zeke this week.
You're benching Zeke, like you can't. I mean. There's a slight part of me that believes this game for Ronald Jones is actually a trap and that he might fumble or ruin this game for himself. But I think you got to go. You just got to bet on Ronald Jones. Like, this matchup is too nice. Running backs go insane against the Jets. Zeke has actually gotten a little better lately, but he's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. That's production's been touchdown dependent. Last week, he only got 10 touches. I'm just not really into Zeke right now. I feel like Ronald Jones here is a start.
And that's the big question when it comes to Zeke is how much do you trust him without touchdowns? Because right now, I don't.
Yeah, you don't trust him at all. He scored 17 points last week with 2 touchdowns. Like, that's just not okay.
Yeah, because that means if he doesn't fall into the end zone, that's a 5-point game, kids.
Yeah, that's like a 5 or 6 point game. And that was against Washington.
Yeah, who is
now he gets Arizona this week. Like, that is a completely different matchup. Like, you can't trust Zeke at all this week.
I don't hate Zeke. I was just checking. He statted out as the RB22 for me. However, Jones is my RB3. And who's the other guy? Oh,
Jones is RB3?
Yeah.
Man.
He's going to score 2 touchdowns against the Jets. That's all it comes down to. So,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a good chance.
And then Sony's only slightly ahead of Zeke for me. Sony's at RB20. So,
yeah.
Who do the Rams have this week? Rams have Baltimore. Okay.
They're the Baltimore.
Baltimore's a tougher run defense. Yeah.
But they are by Joe Mixon.
Unless you're Joe Mixon. But,
yeah. All right. We have any more questions, or we want to go?
No, we are good to move on. Yeah. Yep.
No more.
All right. Back up on 3 down.
All right. So 3 down. We're moving on. Matthew Stafford was Josh's next 3 down player. Definitely didn't lose a semifinals match as a result of his dud. Nope, not me. Sorry, Josh.
God,
sorry, Josh.
terrible.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have him in any of my semifinals teams. Like, that would have sucked. The next player, this guy lost me a semifinal match. I mean, he didn't really lose it for me because I got absolutely smoked. Luke, if you're watching, you absolutely smoked me. But and Tyreek Hill, even if he scored a bunch of points, it wouldn't even mattered. But Tyreek Hill absolutely sucked this week, and now in 3 of his last 4 games, he's finished outside the top 40 at wide receiver. So if you made it to the semifinals with him, that's incredible because he's sucked in the last few weeks. Like, he's just killed you through these playoffs. Yeah, so let's go to Ryan's.
It's been rough with Tyreek Hill. But again, this is what I told people at the beginning of the season. This is his game. 8 good, 8 bad.
Yeah. That's how it goes with Tyreek Hill. So Ryan,
damned if you don't.
Los Angeles, I don't forgive. Chargers, I don't forget. And defense, special teams, I hate you. So yeah, the Chargers D sucked. That was so bad.
Houston gives up a ton of points to fantasy defense. So I went in just to give you guys the heartbreak that I did this weekend. So I'm in the semifinals in my home league.
Yeah.
Needed Tyreek to dud. I have Patrick Mahomes. I lost Travis Kelce. My opponent has Tyreek. That plays out perfectly for me. I obviously go with the Chargers defense, who dropped a whopping -3 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Had Miami on my bench and even said to Marlia in the morning, Marlia is my wife, for those who don't know. I said, this New Orleans game is going to get out of hand. And she said, why? And I was like, they called Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. That's how little they believe in their rookie quarterback. And she's like, yeah, that's crazy. How the hell do I not connect those dots and be like, I should start Miami's defense this week? In my league, we favor big plays for D and special teams. So we favor sacks, we favor turnovers, and obviously touchdowns. Great. Miami scored 33 fantasy points in the league, scoring 36 more. I lost by 14 friggin' points. So
see, you could just be me and hang on to the Dallas Cowboys defense all year, and they put up a 30 spot in this week.
Nope. I have to tinker. I had 3 defenses on my team because that's how I play. I keep away. I do this. I do that. Oh, I could never be more furious than I am at the Los Angeles Chargers. And as I said, I don't forgive. I certainly don't forget. And I hate you.
32nd ranked defense.
Yeah, I played him.
Oh, they stayed it out so bad for me this week, and I guarantee it's because I'm bitter.
Me and my dad every week do this like DFS lineup showdown thing where we make our on paper lineups. You guys know what it is. Yeah. But I played the Chargers defense, and I won by 1.5 points in that week. Like, they almost cost me the game, but thankfully they didn't.
I just got to throw out viewer Albert. I certainly feel your pain, buddy. I am a very bitter person. I've been in this league for 15 years, just won my first championship last year. We've never had a back-to-back champion. We still don't. I am full of heartache. So, Albert, I'm there for you, buddy. We can start a Screw Los Angeles Chargers support group.
Yeah.
So,
moving
back to San Diego.
Let's move on with Joe's down players. Alvin Kamara, Joe's comment was he's a garbage running back. Yeah, he sucked.
Joe is the biggest. He does
you
not
talk about bitter.
Yeah,
Joe. Oh my goodness.
I mean, how much did they really expect Kamara to do with a 4th-string quarterback? Like,
I mean, honestly, people were commenting. I was like, what do you need for your Monday Night Miracle tonight? And I was on Monday. Someone said I need Kamara to score under 18, and I was like, dude. And he was like super nervous, and he was like, no way it's gonna happen. And I was like, dude, those odds are more realistic than you might think. This is a low-scoring game where they're playing with like a 4th or 5th. 10th string quarterback, Ian Book. Like, what the heck was that? Like, I don't know. They were calling so many different quarterbacks to try to start over him. But yet, like, it was just a miserable game from Alvin Kamara. I don't know if it was really his fault, though. Like, it was just a terrible game from the Saints offense, really.
Joe just contests that.
Yeah, Joe is just
more of a weapon than a running back and just hates Alvin Kamara. So,
yeah. Joe, the next one, I didn't even read this still right now. He said, Ryan, I'm out of the league championship because of your heavy vote of confidence in James Robinson.
I think I'm officially
the kiss of death, man. Terrible, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we really have to be careful.
I didn't even see that till right now off the show doc. Oh my goodness.
And we've kind of already done it on this show before it happens. If Ronald Jones gets hurt this week, I may just need to stop.
No, he's gonna. No, he doesn't. He's not gonna get hurt. He's gonna fumble. Like, well, that is the Ronald Jones move of all Ronald Jones moves.
Okay, but then that's not on me, so I think we're okay.
I mean, It kind of is. We know Ronald Jones's history,
guys.
Yeah. All it takes is one.
I'm calling it right now. It's a trap game. Boom. I'm calling it right now. It's a trap game for Ronald Jones, and he fumbles. I'm gonna try to call it right now. All right. And then, Joe, last one here, Arizona Cardinals. Terrible head coach. QB still hasn't figured out what to do with how to win important games. A center that can't do basics of his job. A defense that plays blind. And a team that will cost Ryan his Super Bowl bet. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals. Man, they've been so weird this season. It's been so weird for the Cardinals this season. I don't get it.
Their defense lost a lot of heart when it lost J.J. Watt. I'd go back to that as being a bit of a problem for them.
That was huge.
And that was a big reason why I made the bet. They were a part of my Final Four this year. I got 40-1 odds on the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. So I threw $100 on it just to see what would happen. I don't feel nearly as confident as I did 5 weeks ago. That's for damn sure. So when they were still undefeated at that point, maybe 6 weeks ago. So before we move on and do something fun, we do have another question. Our buddy Gabe needs some help. So
we got you, Gabe.
All right. I need help. My running back is Chubb. My wide receivers are Hill and Cup. Ooh, that's a nice combo there. I need not really Hill though, because he sucked lately. But anyway, I need help with my other running back and flex. These are the players: Boyd, Tyler Boyd, Kareem. I'm assuming that's Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Miles Gaskins. It's not how you spell his name. Whatever.
I was gonna say, don't throw that S on there.
Come on, Gabe. Gaskin.
Jeff Wilson Jr. And at tight end is Njoku or Fant. Oh, that's a gross question.
I love two of these players on the options. So I'm
going to immediately rule out Gaskins, right? You cannot start Gaskin this week. This Miami backfield is one you have to avoid this week.
Yeah, Gaskin actually saw the fewest carries. Phillip Lindsay and Duke Johnson outcarried Miles Gaskin this week.
Yeah. I think he was the only running back to get a catch, though, right?
Was the only one to get a target, actually.
Yeah. Only one to get a target. But yet, the answer between Duke Johnson and Miles Gaskin is nobody. Like, you just cannot start these guys this week. It is a 3-head split. It's gross, and none of them are good. And
Tennessee is better against the run than anyone's giving them credit for. So keep that in mind, too.
Yeah, Tennessee is great against the run. Like, they are really great against the run. So let's try to help out here. So we need a running back and a flex. So I think I'm going to start Boyd and Jeff Wilson here. Boyd has been on fire. It has been off of one big play. Like, it's really been off of one big play over the past 2 weeks. But against Kansas City Chiefs, the Bengals are going to be throwing a ton. And I've heard a lot lately of people saying bench Joe Burrow because the Chiefs defense is on fire. I don't think that's something you're going to want to do. And here's why.
I think this game's going to have an obscene high score, but go ahead.
Yeah. And also, like, these are the opponents that the Chiefs defense played in the last 5 weeks, and here are the fantasy finishes, right? Since week 12, so 5 weeks. The first one in week 12 was Big Ben. He finished as quarterback 25. The second one was Justin Herbert, finished as quarterback 5. The third one, Derek Carr, quarterback 25 on the week. Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback 18. Dak Prescott, quarterback 3. You guys see a pattern there? The two good quarterbacks they played are going off. And the bad quarterbacks they played, they're taking advantage of.
And Joe Burrow is good quarterback.
Joe Burrow is a good quarterback. So stop being concerned about Joe Burrow this week. I've seen a lot of Joe Burrow or Trey Lance questions. It's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to be fine this week.
I agree with everything you're saying there.
I want Boyd and Jeff Wilson.
I don't trust Boyd, and I actually think, and I know these words are going to come back to haunt me, I think Devin Singletary has a nice game against Atlanta this week. They seem to be
fair. The Atlanta matchup is too nice. That's fair.
They seem to want to be giving him the volume. So
I'm not mad at you. Boyd is actually absolutely a big risk, but I think Boyd has much higher upside than Singletary. I feel like both of them have a pretty similar floor.
Okay. But yeah, I would go Singletary and JWJ. So
yeah, I get it.
I personally would go Singletary as well. Ryan, I'm with you on that one. Like, they're giving him the snaps. He is their lead back at this point. I mean, Zach Moss is a scratch at this point. Like,
the only reason Zach Moss played last week is because Matt Breida didn't. So
yeah, it's close between Singletary and Boyd for me. I'm just not a Singletary fan.
Here's my issue with Jeff Wilson, and this is going to be keep an eye on the practice report.
Yeah, is Elijah Mitchell
playing?
Elijah Mitchell, is he playing? If he does, you can scratch Jeff Wilson Jr. right off of your list.
And then I would
pivot to Boyd. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would pivot from Singletary. I would pivot from Wilson to Singletary. Start Boyd.
And then I monitored the Browns tight ends. Everything fell right back into what it was before, and that's Hooper leading, Njoku second, Bryant third. Fant actually took back over the lead from Albert last week. It's a nice matchup, so I would go Fant for the.
Oh man, Singletary's been good. I didn't know how good he's really been. Like, he's been actually really good.
Very good.
Oh man, that's very tempting then.
What happens when you get touches?
That's very tempting. I'm still going to stick with Boyd. I'm confident in the deep play. I like the volume that this game's going to see, but Singletary is still a good option. I think I'm fine starting either, honestly. And then Jeff Wilson's locked in. But anyway, let's go to Njoku or Fant.
So for me, it's Fant. Just the way the Browns are shaking everything out, and Fant kind of took back over the lead dog role, if you will, last week, and that's the first game with Drew Lock, and it looks like Drew Lock is going to stay. I would go Noah Fant.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. This Browns tight end room is a gross, disgusting split disaster that no one wants to touch.
For fantasy, I said this at the beginning of the year. Fantasy. This is great for the offense the Cleveland Browns want to run.
Yeah.
For fantasy, nightmare.
mean, it hasn't really helped the Browns offense because they sucked, but that's not really their fault. It's more Baker Mayfield's fault.
Yeah, I mean, what's helped fantasy figure out the Cleveland tight end room is that someone seems to be hurt at some point.
Every week.
Really helps us as managers really diagnose who the focal point can be. Because usually when we all say, hey, this is a Hooper week, it's a Hooper week. Usually when we say it's an Njoku week, it tends to be an Njoku week. But when all three are healthy, flip a damn coin because nobody knows anything, how they're going to run that. But I'm with you, Ryan. I'm all on board Noah Fant. Not just because this is what we want. Like, this is what I wanted this offseason. I wanted Drew Lock playing because they were going to throw the ball deeper. They took some deep shots to Cortland Sutton, and they're going to stretch that seam with Noah Fant. He has that type of ability. This is why they drafted him in the first round.
Yeah.
The Chargers are god awful against the tight end.
Yep.
We talk about Philly. We talk about the Colts. Guess who's third worst against the tight end? It's the Los Angeles Chargers. They're bad.
They're also a bad fantasy defense, and nobody should have them on their roster at all.
Just imagine if Joe's favorite corner, Tavon Campbell, starts covering Noah Fant.
Oh, man, that'd be bad. Oh, man, that'd be great. All right, we want to get in this Trey Lance game?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so I've prepared this little game for you guys. I actually made like a quick TikTok video about it, and I posted on Twitter about who I'd rather start. I did like a rapid fire thing. But let's just do a rapid fire thing. We're going to go around the circle, go around this little circle we have here. I'll let Joshua go, then Ryan, then I'll go after you guys. Who would you rather start? Just rapid fire it. Josh Allen or Trey Lance? Joshua?
Josh Allen.
Right?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
It ain't broke.
Let's move it down. Let's go Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers or Trey Lance?
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers for me as well.
Yeah, Rodgers for me as well. How about Lamar Jackson if he were to be active this week?
Ooh,
Joshua?
That's a good one. I think I'm still going to stick with Lamar Jackson. And honestly, even if Jackson doesn't play, I'll take Tyler Huntley over.
So the videos of Lamar Jackson practicing don't look good.
Yeah, they don't look good.
So hopefully that means he's benched, but I also am not confident enough to bench a stud for Trey Lance yet. So give me Lamar.
I'm playing Trey Lance. I'm playing Trey Lance here. I'm going Trey Lance. I'm pretty confident in Trey Lance this week. I'm pretty confident.
I am too.
The young kid likes the young bucks.
I was going to say, I am too, but not that confident.
Jackson's pretty young. He's just not as young. So I like Trey Lance better. No, just kidding. But Lamar, if he's not, like, his ankle looks like he does not look good. Like, he was limping on the practice field. And if he does not have his mobility, I don't trust his passing ability against the Rams this week, who have been brutal against quarterbacks this year in terms of passing. So I don't want Lamar a lot this week. So I want to start Trey Lance here. How about Justin Herbert with Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton inactive against the Denver Broncos? Joshua, what do you think? Who are you starting?
I wouldn't buy into Mike Williams being inactive yet. I think he still has a chance to play.
Yeah, he still has a chance to play.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think he still has a chance, but
that said, you are not benching the quarterback 2 in your fantasy football championships. Do not get cute. It is Justin Herbert and nobody else.
Ryan.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Trey Lance stats out ahead of Justin Herbert for me for the week.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's right.
It's only by a point, and I would still start Justin Herbert.
All right. I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go Trey Lance this week.
So you're way more courageous than Josh and I.
I'm very courageous with Trey Lance this week. I know this could really come back and bite me.
I have history with decisions like this. Like there was one league where I literally made a midseason trade to get Tony Romo. I think this was back in like 2013 or 2014.
Man, that's old.
And I was riding Tony Romo into the championship. I was just dude, my quarterback situation was god awful, and I'm like, I have to do this. And I made it all the way into the semifinals.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna like try to throw somebody under the bus, but this was before I really got into like the analyst game, and you know, one of the big wig analysts was like, "Oh, you know what? I really like this guy," and talking about Johnny Manziel, how his rushing upside, you know, really got you to that point. And I was waffling back and forth for days, and I finally said, "You know what? I'm gonna put in Manziel. I'm gonna trust that rushing upside." If I'd started Tony Romo, not only would I have advanced to the championship, but I would have won the championship. Do not get cute in your championship game. Start the studs that got you there. That's all I'm going to say.
I completely understand if you start Herbert. I totally get it, guys. I really understand. But the Denver Broncos games are always so low scoring. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to assume Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton are both out. If Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton
they get Austin Eckler back, I don't care.
And Austin Eckler too. I'm assuming Austin Eckler's playing.
So you're just assuming they're all. Well, yeah, that makes everything a bit.
No. Eckler's already been activated off the COVID list.
Yeah.
Williams technically has not.
Okay, I'm confident he's going to play.
Yeah. Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler is all he needs for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Man, against the Denver defense, I don't want to trust him.
Josh Palmer's pretty good. Just throwing that out there.
Think about it more. I think, man, it's so close. Man, it is so close. It's so close.
Don't get cute, Hutch. Don't get cute.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah,
I think get cute.
Yeah, Trey Lance is Trey Lance. Man, I love him so much. But yeah, I think I'd lean Herbert. But I wouldn't be mad at you. Start Trey Lance. I wouldn't be mad at all. All right, let's move on. Let's move to another one here.
Let's jump into a question real quick.
Oh, question. All right, yeah, we can get to a couple more.
Yeah.
Even gents made the championship, and have a couple of questions. One, Burrow or Russell Wilson? Oh, that's easy. Full PPR start 2. Pittman, Elijah Mitchell, Chase Edmonds, or Aaron Jones? Oh man, Burrow is the easy QB start here. 1,000,000,000%. It's not close. And then start 2. Wow. Well, Elijah Mitchell might not play.
I was going to say, let's answer this question on the assumption that Elijah Mitchell is playing. Because in my opinion, I actually do not like Michael Pittman this week. I think Edmonds and Jones are the best option. But if Mitchell's playing against a bad defense, do we start Eli Mitchell?
Yes, I think he's a good play. With Trey Lance starting, I feel like the San Francisco 49ers are going to want to keep him comfortable, maybe do a lot of shorter passes, possibly to the running back, and run the ball a ton. And I feel like Elijah Mitchell is going to be a big part of that. So I would play Elijah Mitchell here, and then I'd play Aaron Jones. I'd play Aaron Jones. It is scary, but that Minnesota matchup is too good to stay away from. So I'd start Aaron Jones, and I'd start Elijah Mitchell. But if Elijah Mitchell's not active, then I'm going Chase Edmonds.
So I have Mitchell ahead of Edmonds, but I have Connor statted to play. If Connor were out, I would go Edmonds over Mitchell.
Yes.
If Connor plays, I would go Mitchell and Jones as well.
Yep. I'm assuming Connor plays here.
Josh?
There's a lot of what ifs in this scenario for me.
I'm
not even talking about the fantastic Marvel show on Disney Plus. Aaron Jones is like hands down the only one that I have any sort of confidence in. So I'm going to start Jones.
Yes. I don't have confidence in Jones at all.
Of these 4, yes.
Of these 4,
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Of these 4, it's Jones for me. Okay.
Oh man, that's close.
Because his situation, unless he somehow contracts COVID in the next 3 days, he's playing. These other guys, I'm like, with Pittman, if Wentz ends up clearing protocol and plays, I will start Pittman over Mitchell and Edmonds again.
And that's actually a good point. I'm going on the assumption of no Carson Wentz. So
and that I 1,000% am fine with, because again, he is unvaccinated, so I think it's highly unlikely that he plays this week anyway.
Yeah, it is.
So for me, it really does boil down to Mitchell and Edmonds. You're going to start Edmonds if Mitchell doesn't play. If Mitchell does play, I'm going to start Mitchell over Edmonds. But Aaron Jones is the one constant in this entire scenario. Because, again, if Wentz plays, give me Pittman. If he doesn't, give me Mitchell. If Mitchell doesn't play, give me Edmonds. It's a trickle down.
You're waiting for the dominoes to fall.
Yep.
I can agree with that, actually. I'll go back and say, if Wentz is good to go against that Raiders defense, you absolutely can start Michael Pittman.
Yeah, you can start Michael Pittman and Aaron Jones.
Without Wentz, it's going to be 50 rushing attempps. You're going to see a New England type
JT is going to.
Sam Ehlinger's not going to throw the football more than 10 times.
All right. So do you have any more questions?
Yeah, let's do. Or no more questions. Let's finish up with Trey Lance.
All right. Yep. I'll do like 2 or 3 more here. All right. So let's go. Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals gets the Dallas Cowboys this week. Would you rather start Kyler Murray or Trey Lance?
See, with all these studs, I know me and Josh are all going to say the stud. So it's Kyler Murray for me.
I mean, it's still Murray. I mean, I know he's been struggling lately, but again, don't get cute. I mean, this is Arizona right now fighting for a playoff position. I will say the one thing with Murray that we've been disappointed in is his rushing totals this year. They've been really down considering what he was at last year. We know that Trey Lance starting, he's going to run the football a ton. I think his first start this year, he had almost 80 yards rushing.
Yeah, I think he had 86.
Yeah. But I mean, how many passing touchdowns do you honestly think he's going to have?
Trey Lance?
Yeah, that's kind of the point that I'm getting at with Trey Lance. You're banking on rushing touchdown. You're like, this is basically, he's a 175-yard passer and maybe 80 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns. But if he doesn't get 2 rushing touchdowns, is he making that up with passing touchdowns?
Yeah. So, okay. So I have like a normal PPR league here. He scored in that game he started. Who was his opponent again? I didn't remember. Who was his opponent again in that game?
I think he started
Arizona.
like 5.
He started against Arizona. Yeah.
He scored 15 fantasy points without a touchdown. Without a touchdown. Okay. All he needs is 1, and that's 20 points. All he need, and he plays Houston. I mean, like, come on. And this week,
I actually have projected
defense has been better than people want to give them credit.
Yes, they have been better, but oh my god, man, this is making it so much tougher for me.
I think my thing is with Trey Lance, people are getting too hyped up for someone that they were insanely high on to go into this year. Yeah. And they haven't got a taste of him this year because Jimmy G has been serviceable enough to keep the job.
It's me. I'm people.
I mean, I'm people too. Don't get me wrong. I want to see Trey Lance come in and have a damn good game. But again, I'm not benching the guys that got me there. Like, he's not a top 12 quarterback for me this week.
So just to add to the argument, I'm just going to go back to week 9. 10 fantasy points, 12, 10, 13, 25, 10, 19. That's what the Texans have given up to quarterbacks since week 9.
Because teams have just been running the ball a ton on them. Teams just run the ball down their throat. But, man, Kyler Murray or Trey Lance, that's just so hard for me. You guys are making really good points. Man, I want to go with the young guy. So I want to go with Trey Lance so badly. I want to go with him so badly. I feel like the floor is higher because Kyler Murray's rushing yards have been down. And I honestly feel like the Dallas Cowboys defense has been so on fire. I think Kyler is going to get sacked a few times here. I think he at least throws 1 interception. And
I'm going to put it to you this way, Hutch.
Yeah.
Which one of these two has the best shot at 250 passing yards?
Kyler.
That's 10 points right there.
Yeah.
That's 10 points.
Yeah, which one?
Is Trey Lance going to run for 100 yards?
I was just going to say, which one can run for 100 yards?
Yeah, which one can run for 100 yards?
Okay, can he? Sure. Will he is a different question.
Yeah, will he is a different question, yeah.
You know, but
I think
I feel like you can bank on, at minimum, a 10-point passing floor for Kyler Murray. You throw in 1 touchdown, that's now 16 or 14 points, I guess, for most standard leagues. So
Trey Lance
at that point,
Trey Lance scored 15.5 without a touchdown.
and he threw an interception.
And he threw an interception in that game. And
all Kyler has to do is throw towards Trayvon Diggs. He's given up the most yardage among cornerbacks in the NFL.
He's getting all 250 there.
He is. Exactly. Yeah. I think, man. Oh my God.
Trayvon Diggs might get 1 interception, but he'll give up 2 touchdowns. Like it's
man. You guys are making this so hard.
I think we've spent way too much time on this.
Yeah, we have for way too long in this. You know what? Give me Lance.
We still have our upside down side.
I'm going Lance right here. And
I say let's blow through upside down side. But yeah, Trey Lance is fun, and he is my stream of the week. So
I'm going Trey Lance. All right, so let's go with the upside. Josh's upside players of the week last week went 3-1. Season 34, 27, and 3. So
catching up on Joe, coming for him.
For quarterback this week, he's got Kirk Cousins at Green Bay. For running back this week, he's got Ronald Jones at the Jets. For wide receiver this week, he's got Devonta Smith at Washington. And tight end, he's got Foster Moreau if Waller is out. Otherwise, he likes Gronk at the Giants. I like all these picks.
Jets.
I really I love all these picks. Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is a lot of upside, but I'm scared. I'm terrified as a fantasy player who loves Ronald Jones. I'm terrified. Devonta Smith. The Eagles have shown that they can succeed without him, which is concerning, but Devon Smith has really started to got it going over the past couple weeks. So I like this pick a lot. And Foster Moreau, great matchup with the Colts. For Ryan's upside players, last week he went 1-3 on the season, 27-37. Not as good as Josh or Joe. Very far behind them.
He's better on downside. It's okay.
Yeah.
So for quarterback this week, he's got Tua Tagovailoa at Tennessee. I like it. Running back, he's got Jeff Wilson versus Houston. Are you assuming Elijah Mitchell's out here?
Yes, 100%.
If Elijah Mitchell were to play, would Elijah Mitchell be the play?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's a fine replacement. Yeah.
Okay. For wide receiver, he has MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling versus Minnesota. I like that a lot against a great Minnesota matchup. And then tight end, he's got Tyler Higbee at Baltimore. I like that one a lot too. Baltimore's defense has just been ripped to shreds with a passing game. And there's going to be tons of ball to go around here. And tight ends too, yeah. All right. And then Joe this week. Joe last week was 1-2-1 on the season. He's 35-28-1. Right in front of Josh and far in front of Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. I keep making fun of you. All right. For quarterback this week, he's got Matt Stafford at Baltimore. For running back this week, he's got Devin Singletary versus Atlanta. Wide receiver, he's got Michael Pittman versus Las Vegas. And for tight end,
I feel like that's very cognizant of Carson Wentz, but I'll have to text him an hour.
Yeah.
But,
And for tight end, he's got Gerald Everett versus Detroit. So, I mean, we talked about a few of these guys today. Like, I love all these players. We love all these players for this week. These are all going to be good players. I like these picks. Now let's move to downside for Josh. Last week, he was 2-2 on the seasons, 35-25-4. For quarterback this week,
Ryan and I have been very back and forth on this record all year.
For quarterback this week, he's got Matt Ryan at Buffalo. I feel like I want you to explain that pick because I don't understand it. I don't understand that pick.
Matt Ryan outdoors, no bueno.
No, I think he wants to know how could he possibly be a downside.
Wait, no, sorry. Hold on, sorry. Wait. Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah, these are the players we think are going to have terrible weeks.
No, yeah.
Josh took a gimme by picking a bad quarterback against a great defense.
First,
that's okay. Look at my other picks.
I have an all-star team on my pick.
Running back, he's got Saquon Barkley. Yeah, that's a good one at Chicago.
This one,
Jamar Chase versus Kansas City.
Ooh.
I want you to explain that one.
I think it's going to be all T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. That's really what I think. I feel like everybody's going to get sucked back in. They're going to get sucked back into. I love Jamar Chase. He had 129 yards last week. Look, the dude passed for 525 yards. I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to replicate that, but
526.
Kansas City goes against Tyreek Hill in practice every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they're very different body type receivers, but what they do on the field is get down the field to make plays.
Yep.
Spagnuolo is going to know how to stop that and neutralize that threat. So Joe Burrow has to be smart and just take what the defense gives him. That defense is going to give him Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, not Jamar Chase.
Yeah, absolutely. And
especially because Chase isn't a high target type number one wide receiver. Yeah. He's a big play wide receiver.
Yeah, Chase is not a high target type of guy, but he's a big play type of guy. But then tight end this week for Josh, the downside is Dalton Schultz versus Arizona. I like that one.
That makes me nervous because Schultz has been really good, but Arizona has Budda Baker, and they're really good at covering tight ends. So I think you're going to see more of the wide receivers this week than Dalton Schultz.
I agree.
All right, then Ryan, his downside players, man, oh my God, he's a superstar team over here. Quarterback, he's got Justin Herbert versus Denver. Like, we were debating Trey Lance or Justin Herbert.
I told you I have Lance ahead of Herbert, but Herbert scares me this week.
Oh man, yeah, that one's really close for me. I'm still debating that in my head right now. I'm still debating it. Running back Alvin Kamara versus Carolina.
Carolina is way better against the running back than people give them credit.
I like it. Carolina's defense is so much better than people give them credit for. It's because they're messed at quarterback and offense that they have. Their defense is actually really, really good.
Yeah, talk about a two-headed monster of a nightmare for Joe. Sam Darnold and Cam Newton playing together at quarterback.
Seriously, Joe. Oh my goodness, nightmares. Jeez. Oh my goodness. All right. For wide receivers, you got Terry McLaurin versus Philly. I love this pick. I love this downside pick.
He was awful against him the first time, man.
Yep.
Yeah, Slay.
Philly's so good against wide receivers.
Slay's putting them on lockdown this week.
Their defense has gotten kind of similar to Miami. They've gotten a lot better in the second half of the season.
Yeah, Philly's defense, my team defense, going insane right now. And then tight end this week, Mike Gesicki. I love this pick. Tennessee's tight end defense against tight end specifically have actually been pretty good this year. A lot more than people give him credit for. So I like this Mike Gesicki pick. He's been terrible lately anyway. And then Joe's pick last week was 0-3-1. Great week, Joe. On the season is 28-33-3. I'm trying to throw in some Joe type comments
You're
here.
doing great.
Stop cursing. For quarterback this week, he's got whoever starts for Chicago against the Giants. No Chicago QB is good enough to start right now. I love this pick because the Giants, I don't know, it's weird. They're like the Giants are just such a boring offense, and a lot of teams don't put up too many points against them. It's just always a slow, very boring game. Not Philly last week. Philly, they put up a ton of points.
I'd say Joe and I have a running argument on this because Justin Fields actually makes my stream of the week list if he's the starter, just because of what he can get done with his legs. So
he has potential, yeah. And then running back this week, he's got Josh Jacobs at Indianapolis. This is a great pick. This is a great pick here. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson versus Cleveland. It's a pretty good pick.
Joe is officially on my shit list with this pick.
Yeah, it's an awful pick, and Joe's an awful
Team Deontay Johnson for life.
Yeah. I know Joshua Team Deontay Johnson for life. I can see it, though. I can see him having a poor game. And then tight end this week, he's got Dallas Goedert at Washington.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like that one much. Joe,
it hurts. His only two targets are literally Goddard and Devonta Smith. So I don't know that I love that pick, but I think he's banking on Cameron Curl here.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. Yeah. All right, let's go to stream of the weeks. Stream of the week.
I'll just knock these out real quick. Last week I had to make some adjustments at quarterback because 3 of my 5 did not play. Jimmy Garoppolo ended up as the stream of the week. Only scored 15 points this week. It's his replacement, hopefully. Keep in mind, Jimmy Garoppolo might actually play this week.
Top 5 QB of the week, guys.
Trey Lance versus Houston, as we mentioned. Tight end CJ Uzomah was last week, scored 8 points, could have scored a touchdown, really let me down there, but I'm running it right back because Kansas City is bad against the tight end, CJ Uzomah. D in special teams. Yep. I hate you, Los Angeles Chargers. -3 points. But this week, I'm going to take the Bears against the Giants and that mess of a quarterback.
That's a good one.
So, yep.
That's a good pick, too.
All right, and thriving on props, Sunday's picks, no Thursday night football involved. For Josh's, he's on the season 10-5. He likes Justin Jefferson under 1.5 reception touchdowns. So he doesn't.
So I was looking at this line, and I was like, why? Because the over is 140 points, and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Let me double check here. Well, he scored 2 touchdowns against Green Bay the last meeting, but every single game this year, it's either 1 or 0. So that's why that line is so high. So I feel like this is one of those
line. I feel like I would
kind of need like those gimme points. And with you guys kind of swinging bigger, I was like, let me give the gimme pick and we'll go from there.
So we haven't really explained Thrive for our viewers in a while. Thrive Fantasy is player prop betting meets DFS, and that's kind of what we're covering here. We normally cover the Thursday game, but this week it's the Sunday game. And every over and under is assigned points based on how likely they are to happen. So if something's very likely to happen, it's worth fewer points, which is why Josh's picks is only 60. However, you have to combine 10 props, and the goal is, like DFS, to come out of the week with the most points. So it is important to be right. And Josh said, these are give me points. So you want these 60 points, but then you may have to take some bigger swings to score the most points at the end of the week. And that's what Josh was saying, where since Joe and I swung big, take Josh's gimme points, swing big with me and Joe's points, and you might be able to put together a nice little lineup. And I just want to quickly throw out, our writer, Chris Molina, puts out an article about this every week where he gives you his top 5 props. So if they're different, you may be able to combine his props, our props, and now you have 8 of your 10 already picked for you. And we just ask that you give us 10% of the money if you win on that. So,
all right, let's move to Ryan's on the season. Ryan is 8-7. Matthew Stafford over 2.5 touchdowns plus interceptions. So touchdowns and interceptions combined over 2.5. This is, I don't understand why that's 115 points. It seems like
I actually statted Stafford out as 4 touchdowns this week. So I was like, this feels great to me.
Yeah, Stafford, if it was just touchdowns alone, I'd take the over. The interceptions, I don't even know if he throws one this week against that Baltimore secondary.
But if he does, if he throws 3, I'm happy.
Yeah, but he's gonna have a big game. This is an easy smash over here.
Yep.
And then Joe has Jonathan Taylor going over 108.5 rushing yards this week against Las Vegas Raiders. I love this one, especially if Carson Wentz were to not play. This is one that's going to, even if Carson Wentz playing, like the Las Vegas defense is just terrible against the run. This is likely going to be like a slower run the ball defense focused game. The Raiders games have always been low scoring. It's been so boring to watch. The Raiders are like the 2020 Bears all over again. It's been terrible to watch their games, but I think this is Jonathan Taylor rushing heaven here in this game. 108.5 rushing yards. I like this pick a lot.
Boom. Guys, we did it.
We did it.
Hutch, tell everybody where they can find your work, and thank you so much for filling in today.
Absolutely, guys. You can go follow me on Twitter and on TikTok at TYFMNFL. It's that handle right there next to my username. I'm not going to try to point at it because that's going to be an epic failure. But you guys can go find the Young Fantasy Mind Football Podcast. That's pretty much my main thing that I do. It's pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. I also write articles for DLF. I haven't written one in a little bit, but I should have one coming out soon on Trey Lance, actually. So go check that out. If you have a DLF subscription, you can go check that out when it drops. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for reaching out. I'm always available if you guys need a guest. Happy to come on.
Oh, we're happy to have you. And Hutch was actually on our DFS show last week, filled in while Kira wasn't able to make it because I'm obligated to always have an Eagles player or an Eagles fan on the show. So you can check that out. And then we'll have a new episode dropping this Sunday with Sven, who writes for Rum Boys and Sleeper Wire. So make sure you check that out. That's Sunday at 11. My Stream of the Week video will drop tomorrow. We'll have the Thrive video drop on Saturday. We're going to have Josh's confidence plays drop on Friday, but we're also going to give you another chance to ask start sit questions. Don't know why I said that backwards. Every Saturday we go live, even though it's New Year's Day. We understand how important championship week is. So we will be here at 11 a.m. And I was going to kick this to Josh. Oh, your internet's working. Josh, are we doing anything special Saturday at 11 a.m.? Oh, he's even muted. So I'm still going to keep going. Nope. Josh, stop talking. Nobody can hear you. So what Josh was about to tell you is we finally hit 300 subscribers. We've been pushing for a couple months now because we hit 200 during the season. And Josh agreed that when we hit 300, we got to do something special. And he is going to give away the absolute fire black Chris Godwin autographed jersey that he is going to grab right now. We have entered everybody who has a public profile into the big spinny wheel. However, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, hit it now. Make sure your profile is public. Otherwise, DM us and let us know you subbed, and we'll get you entered into the drawing. We'll be doing that probably at the end of the show on Saturday to give some of the new subscribers a chance to get on there. So you will have Josh's confidence plays dropping on Friday. We have Joel Worth's betting article. We have Chris Molina's Thrive article. Those are going to be dropping Friday and Thursday respectively. Saturday, we have Start Sit. We have DFS and Chill on Sunday. Plenty of stuff why you should be subscribing to our YouTube channel. I thank everybody, and we truly thank you, Hutch. Josh, go ahead and get us out of here.